Good afternoon, and welcome to the One Celtic Fans View. Oh, yeah, it is transfer deadline day. It is transfer deadline day. It is that we are live. And wait on people catching up. Just checking out the news. Just checking out the news to see if there's anything about Celtic. Sky, we're talking about Celtic a couple of minutes ago. Uh, right, that's a bit thingy that video. Anyway, let's get straight on to it. Going to this screen. So yeah, hope you all watched this morning's video about the transfers that we've had in so far. Fantastic, isn't it? And it's transfer deadline day. There's nothing coming out of Celtic just yet, but we'll say good morning to everyone who's first on. Paul McEwen was first on. Lorna Gallagher, afternoon everyone. Or is it? Is it a good afternoon? Sabri said, hope it's going to be a good afternoon. Well, let's hope so. Let's hope so. Barry Lawless says we're turning it a laughing stock and there's nothing we can do. Old Stagger says the board are as tight as proverbial duck's arse. Proverbial duck's arse. Which four players that were brought in? It says Sushi, Graham Hardy says Hail Hail Troops, GT Boy 67 says Hail Hail, Liam is in the house. What's happening, boys? Lorna's in the house, and Fluffer Hunter's in the house from Fife. Get in there. And San Fran Celtic, and Gordon is in the house also, and James Gunn has just walked into the chat room. So it is transfer deadline day. There's nothing happened so far, and I'm just going to go on here. There's a little bits of business going on in the background. I'm just trying to find. Obviously, the one that we're all waiting on is Adam to get paraded at Celtic Park. At some point, Celtic are looking to offload quite a few players, and then Preston reject a late bid for. No, it's interesting with this PSG one. Will Celtic be? A lot of people are saying that Celtic will be scared off with the big wages that this guy is on. The fact that he's been with them since 2015. I can't see it being a huge fee that they're wanting for him. And he is in the last 6 months of the contract. But saying that, we've just got £2 million for Turnbull. We have just got £2 million for Turnbull. So let's get back to some of the comments. James Gunn says, not seeing the Heather on fire with the signings yet. Nah, none, I don't think we'll get anything till about 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Celtic Park like to put out things about 6 o'clock. And then I think the left back position will probably be filled later today at some point, hopefully. I mean, Celtic are out there trying to get a left back. They've been asking a few teams about players, but there's nothing as yet. Paul Baird has entered the building, says that it's not just the board that need to blame. Brendan Rodgers also need to take the blame. Full of excuses. Is he full of excuses, or is it just the fact that when you look at it, I'm going to play devil's advocate again. Hopefully, just give me 2 seconds till I muck about with this. Don't want that. That one. That. A bit better. Just mucking about with some settings. Don't worry about it. There we go. That's a bit better picture. Right, as it stands, I mean, it's a difficult window to try and get players in. And if you look at look at the English market, the English haven't been spending the way that they usually spend, and there's teams that are reluctant to buy. A lot of teams are reluctant to sell their players just now. Look at us, for instance. We're reluctant to sell Matt O'Reilly, which is good. And even Sky were talking about this earlier. And a commentator on Sky says, look, when it comes to it, that's a good thing for Celtic to be able to turn around today. He says sometimes it's not about the players that come in. Sometimes a good deadline day is about managing to hold on to some players. Celtic managing to hold on to O'Reilly will send shockwaves around Europe really, it'll send shockwaves around Europe that we didn't jump at an offer to sell a player for 20 million. So we need to look at the positives. We can sit and look at all the negatives all day long, and we can talk about the board not doing their thing. But when you look at it over the last, go and have a look at how many trophies we've won over the last, and it is, yes, we all want the best for the club. We all want the best for the club. We all want to move forward. We all want to do better in Europe. There has to be a reason that the club is acting the way it is. The PSG player looked about, yeah, he's played about 3 games this season, but we're never going to go out and get an experienced player to come in and play that position that's going to cost us some money. And understand, because I seen a comment earlier, um, getting rid of Turnbull when we have injuries, nice one. We've got plenty of people that could fill that position that Turnbull plays that are a lot faster than Turnbull. Right, I want to big shout out. We are at the 14,901. We are 99 people away from 15,000. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure that you do. We'll get back to some of the comments. Getting rid of Turnbull. We've got injuries. Anybody here thinks that the players that are going after doesn't want to come? No, I think it's more down to money, and I think it's the players that we've went after is players that clubs don't want to lose, and we're in a similar position. And I'm going to throw something into the fold as well. There could be a situation that players are unsure, especially if players are in and around international teams. They're looking forward to, but then again, if it's players that are not getting played for their team, they're not going to be international players. But the bigger transfer window, I think, when you look at it, there's not been a lot of money spent in the UK, which is it's something new. This is probably going to be one of the lowest spending transfer windows in the UK in a long, long time. Usually, the English market break records, but I think a lot of clubs are hanging off to the summer. Now, if Matt O'Reilly um, goes to the Euros and does fantastically well in the Euros, you're going to add another 5 grand onto his transfer. And I think a lot of teams are waiting to see what happens in the summer, waiting to see who stand out, waiting to see players, because then they'll see players playing in Europe. It'll be easier for managers to go to games, and it'll be easier for managers to try and pick up some players that are on the peripheral of international football and that play for teams that you never know, you might get a bargain from. I think there's a lot of that going on in the wider transfer window. Let me just see there. Standard Liège, Leicester. I'm just trying to get any more Celtic news. Joseph Owen says Brendan walks. Who's going to take the job? Yeah, and that's nonsense that Brendan's walk. Brendan's not going to walk. Um, and the board said it wouldn't have a million in the bank if it wasn't successful. We've had, and what we all grumbling about. Yeah, and I'm pretty with you, Alexander. I'm pretty with you with that one. When you look at the success that we've had, when we look at the success that we've had over the last 15 years, say, I mean, we had one season where we didn't win anything, the COVID season, but then that affected a lot of clubs around Europe. And I'm not trying to make excuses for that year. We should have won the league. It's as simple as that. For the nonsense that Brendan Rodgers is going to leave, I don't think he'll leave purely for the fact that he's come in to do a job and he wants to prove that he can do that job. And I think ultimately he's looking for forgiveness from Celtic fans from the way it went wrong the last time, and he wants to prove that he's a bigger man than the one and only Lawwell. Now, when it comes down to it, it's Lawwell and Cole that are basically giving Brendan the players that he can sign. I mean, there's been talk this week that Celtic have tried to sign players and the teams just don't want to let them go. So, Brendan has started off with an A list, and I think we're down to about the Z list, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Anyway, the fact that Celtic are selling a 24-year-old player with less than 6 months left on his contract to Cardiff for a deal worth 2 million, I think it's a fantastic bit of business. It's one that I shouted out before the transfer window opened. I said, look, if Turnbull isn't getting offered a new contract, if he's not going to get offered a new contract and Celtic are wanting him gone, rather than let him run down his contract, is to let him go. Now, the club that he's going to, Cardiff City, is it? They wanted him before Celtic went for him, so they're finally getting their man, but just years later. So I think it's a good move for Turnbull. He's came to Scotland. He's never kicked on as a player. He's never kicked on pace wise in the middle of the park. Fantastic goal scorer. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Turnbull as a goal scorer, his stats is phenomenal. But so is the player that's coming in as a striker. His stats, he's scored 7 goals off the bench. He's scored 7 goals off the bench this season. So if he can score 7 goals the first half of the season coming off the bench, we've had another player in O that's probably had about the same amount of game time that hasn't scored 7 goals. So I think bringing in a player, Adam, the fact that he has scored 7 goals, we shouldn't knock it. We shouldn't knock it at all. Anyway, let's get back to some of the football in the park. Has been hard to watch this season. Yes, I know, I know. We're now going into the Greek alphabet, says Uncle Clukie. AR says, it's like finding some mug unless it turns up in the nightclub for a signing policy. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. The thing is, I'm going to check Celtic social media because everything just. You always know when Celtic are up to something because the social media team go into radio silence. And they've kind of been in radio silence the past couple of days. 19 hours ago. Yeah, they've put nothing up today. So you know that the Celtic media team are taking pictures and getting interview from any signings that came in. Now we know one signing that's came in. It's been said that it wasn't Adam that was spotted at the training ground yesterday going through. But then again, Celtic put out pictures to the press to try and kid the media on that things happened at certain times when there's every chance it's happened before. I'm not buying it that Adam only flew in to Glasgow last night after 8 o'clock at night. I'm not buying that at all, especially when you've seen somebody going through the motions of a health checkup at Celtic Park. If it wasn't him, who was it? Who was it? Maybe Celtic are just going to come out with somebody that we don't even know. You never know. Anyway, right, let me get back to this. Celtic have been radio silent when it comes to social media on Facebook. The last thing that they put up was last night was the Alistair Johnston Team of the Week nonsense. And then before that, it was good luck to Maidan Hattati. Let me just jump over to the land of Twitter and see if Celtic have been putting anything out on that. And this is, as I say, this is always when you know that Celtic are up to something in the background because their social media team, they don't know how to schedule things at Celtic, which for a social media team is absolutely terrible. Yeah, the last thing they put up on Twitter was yesterday, good luck to Dyson Maida. You would think that they would, in this day and age, you can schedule posts on social media and, on all platforms, on YouTube, if they put anything up on YouTube. We'll check YouTube to see if they've put anything out on YouTube. But I doubt they have. Not if they've not put anything. Michael Silva press conference. Celtic FC. Videos 2 days ago for a video. 2 days ago. 2 days ago for a video. And I don't know. So yeah, it's been a couple of days that Celtic have been radio silent when it comes to social media, which does to me say that there's things going on in the background. There's definitely things going on in the background that we're not a privy to, that we're definitely not a privy to. And you can tell that just by the social media negligence by the social media team. If you don't want people to think that there's something going on in the background, schedule posts to go up. There's a lot of content that Celtic could put out quite easily. Anyway, good luck to Turnbull, says Lorna Gallagher. When are the signing approached by Jerry McCulloch for Celtic TV? They're on a mile. Leave Jerry alone. He's a Celtic man like me and you. The only signing so far has been Coco Monkey. Dear, what's going on with this monkey back in Scotland? The one that was running about that got out the woods. Anyway, have they posted Ronnie Galvin's birthday yet? No, they haven't. They haven't. They haven't done that. Right, let me just see this. It's the worst thing about Celtic. The social media team. There's a big, massive team. This is my only dig about Celtic, right? Now we're not talking about one little guy sitting on his laptop doing the social media. We're talking about a full team here. They have a team for YouTube, a team for Facebook, and a team for Instagram and Twitter. They've got they've got half a dozen to 10 people working in that department. And for there to be no content put out around about this time about anything. I mean, usually at this time of the week, they show you what's going on the training pitch, um, just to give you a little insight before what's going on at the weekend. But there's been absolutely nothing. And I think it's a bit for a team that gets the kind of money that they get to spend on their platforms. It's bad news for Celtic. Anyway, let's get to some of the comments and see what we're saying. Derek says because they want to do a stupid promo of the players bringing in. Yeah, I know that's. But the thing is Derek, I'm saying you can schedule or schedule whatever if you're American. You can get posts loaded up to come out during the day. And if Celtic are running about getting content and then putting that up, and they're not sitting with a bank of content, it's completely bizarre. It is completely bizarre. Anyway, something today says Sevco are trying to land the money on obligations to buy over 12 seasons. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Right, what are Sky saying to it? They're saying in England there's just 9.5 hours. Oh, here we go. And they're back in Scotland. Sky News. Mikey Johnston set to go to West Brom on from loan from Celtic until the end of the season. Why are we putting Mikey Johnston out on loan until the end of the season? I think that's a completely bizarre one because he's out of contract at the end of the season. Have Celtic sneakily given him? Have Celtic sneakily given Mikey Johnson an extension on his contract to allow him to go? Let me just see. Evidence. No speculation. Just waiting for confirm. Just Sky's talking about a left back, but 11:30 deadline, and they're all talking about Adam Ida. They're waiting on confirmation. Celtic obviously putting out the pictures, which we know by the social media team doing nothing. And then he says that they're basically saying that they're waiting on a left back. So I think that's the only piece of business that's going to get done today. And then it's all just going to be about how many players we're going to. It depends. The Lager Belke situation that needs sorted out one way or t'other. I feel sorry for Gustav, the fact that he's been chucked out the door, and he wants to go. He wants to go and play football. There has been a rumour kicking about. There has been a rumour kicking about saying that we might bring in a centre back on loan. That's just bizarre. Why would we want to bring in a centre back on loan so that Gustav Lagerbielke can make the jump to Italy, and he knows that it is hopefully it's an obligation to buy that one for the lads because I hope he gets his move and it turns out a bit better than what it's done at Celtic. Nottingham Forest. Do you know what I'm seeing as well, right? I mean, there's a lot of goalkeepers getting shifted around at this late stage. How are we unable to get rid of Benjamin Siegrist? And the past couple of days, I've seen a couple of goalkeepers around Europe getting put out on loan and getting bought. How we can't get rid of Benji Siegrist is just it's weird, absolutely weird one. Maybe social media team will let us know if Mikey Johnson has has extended his contract. Yeah, you never know. You never know. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up and share it on Twitter or whatever. No, didn't bother because you can't get onto it now. Twitter's changed their things. Anyway, Baz Monkeys signed for Huns. The Monkeys signed for the Huns. The Monkeys are dead. Remember that banner? That was a fantastic banner put up at Hampden against the the Rangers back in the day. That was fantastic day. That was a brilliant day at Hampden. That remember the banner going up at half time, and then everyone looking around whilst these monkeys get blown up. And then, and then the banner gets pulled back, the monkeys go up, and then the big banner goes up, the monkeys are dead. Whilst the pyro gets let off. Oh, the good old days at the football. The good old days at the football. Yes, right, let's move on. James Gunn said it's not a bad thing to have money in the bank. I remember us being away 8 hours from going under and the Canadian coming in to save us. We weren't 8 hours, James. We weren't 8 hours away from going under. It's that's the story that it was never going to happen like that. I spoke to Michael Kelly about this a few years back, and then it was at that time he confirmed to me that he got paid £180,000 by Fergus McCann. Now, what Fergus did is there was never any chance of the bank for closing, but Fergus went in and laid down. He went and had a meeting with the bank before he bought any shares from Celtic, and then he paid the 5 million, and then it was about 4 or 5 days later before he concluded the deal for all the shares for Celtic. So this nonsense that we were 8 hours away, it was just media at the time. It was just media at the time. And there was they were putting pressure on us. They were putting pressure on the banks. We were putting pressure, but that's because David Murray was that in with the guy that ran the Bank of Scotland at the time and the old Masonic handshake crap. That's what put the pressure on us. Anyway, that was a long time ago. Celtic are in a far better place. Where would you rather be? Would you rather be Celtic back in 1994-95 season? Or would you rather be Celtic now that have went over the last 20 years, been pretty much dominant in Scottish football? And do you know, as a fan base, have we turned into no, but we all want the best for Celtic, but have we turned into a bunch of spoilt kids? Have we turned into a bunch of spoilt kids? And the reason I'm going to say this is we're going on about prospects. Now, Matt O'Reilly was brought in as a prospect. There's been other players over the years that have been brought in as prospects and went on to do pretty damn well. Do you know? So I think bringing players in, maybe we're keeping the money till we get. Maybe we're going to spend big in the summer. Maybe that's the plan. Maybe the plan is we know we're going to go into the Champions League. We're going to have a crack at these 8 or 10 games or whatever it is, and um, maybe the fact that we're going to go in and spend big in the summer. You never know. You never know. But spending big, I'm saying maybe we will go and bring in 3 players that are worth 10 million a pop. Anyway, who knows? How's things, Baz from Holytown CSC? Absolutely fantastic, Harry. Absolutely fantastic. Done a video this morning, went out, done some work, had a bit pottering about in the garden, and now I'm doing this live. Waiting on Celtic doing something. And Celtic social media is absolutely, there's tumbleweed. If anybody's a hacker, go and just hack into Celtic social media and just put tumbleweed across it. That'd be funny. That would be funny. Not a thing from Celtic. And Mikey Johnston away to West Brom. I wonder how much. I think that's a weird one, especially since we sold Turnbull. And this is why I think Mikey Johnston might be getting a new contract. The fact that we sold Turnbull and he's only got 6 months left on his contract. Why would we allow Mikey Johnston to go out on loan with only 6 months left on his contract? I find that completely bizarre. I do find it bizarre. Maybe put that light on. That one. Oh, that's a bit better. But you never know. You never know. Martin says, 100% agree with Baz. We're in a much better place now than in the 90s. Yeah, and I think sometimes we need to take a look back at that and look at what we've achieved. As a fan base, do we take for granted what's happened over the last 10 years? Do we take for granted that we went on winning treble? If you'd said to me when I was a kid supporting Celtic, if you'd said to me in the summer of '88 when we won a double, winning a double was a fantastic achievement. Nobody thought about winning trebles when we were younger. No one thought about winning trebles. Winning a domestic double was massive. It was massive back in 1988, and especially doing it as excuse after excuse. I'm just trying to just kill some time until Celtic make a move. We could be here all night. I got mega drunk on work today. Big Dom says It's great that we're moving out the deadwood. Yeah, and a lot of people wanted that. A lot of people wanted the deadwood shifted out this window. Now it was either deadwood or it was players that were never going to get a chance. The fact that we've shifted out some players that are coming towards the end of their contract. Um, you must have £7, £7.50 a pint. What? Who pays £7.50 a pint? I pay €270 here. We're not talking about drink. Anyway, greetings from County Clare, Ireland, says Paul Hogan. Paul Hogan. And there's nothing coming out of Sky at all. Not bad, the boards are taking the piss. Yeah, the board are taking the piss, but it's a hard one. They're stuck. Celtic are at a crossroads, right? The way to look at this, right? I'm going to play devil's advocate again because I've got to try and see both sides. I can't just come across with my own personal opinion on here. It wouldn't be right. It's called the One Celtic Fans View. Everyone needs to get their say, and I think that playing devil's advocate on it. Someone's just subscribed. See that? That's cool as anything. Playing devil's advocate. Celtic are at a funny crossroads just now. They went from the year where we lost the 10 in a row. Financially, we were in an okay position. We could have spent more to maybe win the league. We could have done a bit more, and we could have prepared a bit more. I think my only beef with Celtic is the 3 to 5 year term planning. Now it does look as if we've started doing that 5 to 10 year planning now. It looks like we've started it, and I'll tell you why. Because we're bringing in players on 5 year contracts. Bringing in players on 5 year contracts gives you that 3 to 5 year window, right? It gives you that 3 to 5 year window that they seem to be planning in. Now, as Brendan Rodgers said to them, look, I'll take maybe, and there's something that we've never thought of. Maybe Brendan Rodgers came in at the summer and he had all these players lined up. Apart from Phillips, Phillips was brought in as a panic cover, a panic cover, and maybe Brendan Rodgers said, right, I'll take on these players and I'll see how good they are. I'll see how good they are, and if they're not up to my standard, they're gone the next window. They're gone the next window, and I'll take between now and the winter shutdown to look at every player. Now, the fact that we've had a lot of injuries has probably meant that he's not been able to look at many players as he probably wanted. And the ones that he has to look at, he's deemed aren't sufficiently good enough. Bernabe, for instance, he's improved as a player, but he's not Celtic material. Gustav Lagerbielke, I thought he'd done fine. I thought he's a player that could maybe progress. Brendan Rodgers doesn't seem to see that. Brendan Rodgers doesn't seem to see it, so he's went, right, do you know what? There's no use pissing about here. There's no use pissing about. The guy wants to play football. He sat down and he's had a talk with him. He said, can you sit around and wait to get your chance, or are you champing at the bit to play? And he's champing at the bit. He's got a chance to go to Italy. Let him go. Could it be the fact that Brendan Rodgers says, we'll get to this window, we'll get rid of some players, we'll bring in some players just to cover us until the summer, and then I want the money to go out and buy the players that I want. And maybe that's it. Because you've got to remember, the planning for the last window was all basically done under Ange Postecoglou. So all the players were pretty much earmarked under Ange, and Brendan's came in. And you can say, but it was the 5th of June or something, the 5th of June that he took the job. You knew right after the Scottish Cup final, you knew he was walking. So Celtic at that point, but Celtic would have known beforehand. Let's face it, when that picture come out with their owner, his son, and Ange in the foyer of Celtic Park, and the two of them looking completely bemused at Ange. And now it was an unbelievable look because they couldn't believe that he'd turned down the chance to sign this contract there and then, sign the extension contract and be with Celtic for the next 3 seasons. He said, let's play the game. Let's play the game and wait till after the cup final. Any other manager would have bitten their hand off there and then. Ange Postecoglou played as a good one. He played a fantastic one, keeping his options open. And so he's done that his whole career. Anyway, AGS says, agreed by as Rodgers will be given the mother load of transfer kit in the summer. That's only my personal opinion. I think he might be. We're never going to spend against, and yes, you're young with two left feet. Jesus. Then you walk like a duck. Walk like a duck. The window closes Germany 7 o'clock tonight, Italy 10 p.m., France 11, and at 11 o'clock tonight in Spain. Viva! So, and then it is 11:30. How has Scotland managed to get their transfer window shut at 11:30 after everyone else? The big hitters are in Sky. Inverness have signed a midfield player from Everton on loan to the end of the season. Absolutely nothing, nada from Celtic yet. Just under 9 hours to go in England for the transfer. So if we are going to get a player from England, we have to do it in the next 10 hours. So Brendan Rodgers and the team at Celtic need to get their absolute finger out, as they say. And Celtic have still posted absolutely nada on Nottingham Forest and talks with Strasbourg over Belgian international goalkeeper. How can we not be going for... There's an awful lot of transfers going through, an awful lot of loan This is all to do with it. This is why I'm saying it's been a funny transfer window, and there's not been a lot of money. I'm seeing a lot of transfers coming through this afternoon that are loans with obligations to buy. An awful lot of transfers with loans that are obligation to buy in the summer. Seems to be teams that they know that they're under financial constraints this season, so they're protecting themselves from getting outbid in the summer, and that's one of the reasons that the Spanish club Atletico Madrid tried to make the move for Matt O'Reilly. It was so that they could make sure that they had his services in the summer. If they really wanted him, why didn't they say to Celtic, look, we'll take him on loan and then we'll loan him back to you for absolutely nothing with the obligation to buy in the summer? They could have done that to Celtic. That would have been a good deal. The rumour on the Daily Record site that Celtic are buying Mikey Johnston from Nate's. Oh my God, do you remember that day? That was absolutely I'll never forget that. Anyway, we're at night. We're only needing 97 subscribers. 97 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, 97 subscribers. I want to get to that before Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day. Go on, be my Valentine's. Make sure that we get to 15,000 subscribers before Valentine's Day. Manchester United. Bringing in players. Leicester. Let's get to... Can't wait for this window to shut because I'm knackered with it being fucking angry. Says Stuart. Brian says, what about Brendan Rodgers walking out at midnight? That'll never... Brian, stop it. Brendan Rodgers isn't going to walk out. The only one who's going to walk out is a player and go, hiya, and nobody will be there. Because gone are the days, you remember the good old days when Celtic... Right, let's talk about that, in fact, right? Let's talk about bygone days where Celtic would bring in a player and they would parade them just before midnight at Celtic Park. It's absolutely unbelievable that the majority of those players were big flops, right? So a lot of the players that we brought in deadline day and bygone days that were big players, big players on big wages, they were flops. So what do we want as fans? Do we want the club to go out and bring in a big name player that's just here to make his name at Celtic? There's it's like a Libra in scales. You've got to balance it. And who would Brendan Rodgers be replaced by? Who would you like in at Celtic? Who do you think that could do a better job than what Brendan's doing just now? Ask yourself that. Because it's going to be the exact same people in the boardroom. It's going to be the exact same people in the boardroom, and it's going to be the exact same people that are making the decisions. So getting rid of the manager is just absolutely nonsense. That's a Sevconian thing to do. That's a Sevconian thing. Or maybe even an Aberdeen. That's an Aberdeen type thing to do. They tend to get rid of their players. Guys, good podcast. It doesn't send one months after subscription. It should do. You need to hit the notification bell. You need to subscribe, and you need to hit. There's a little bell somewhere. You need to hit the notification bell. And then that's how you get the notifications. Give me 2 seconds. The dog's wanting it. Let's go. Right, that's the dog out. The monkey, I'm kidding. I think we're going with a mark. I think the board are setting up Brendan Rodgers to fail. They wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that. I don't think so. I don't think so. Um, it would be crazy. Why would they do that? Why would they risk? Why would they risk the league? Why would they risk the league this season? Seriously, why would you risk the league this season? Just check. Grimsby. It's the missus. The missus is sitting in the next room in her office, and she's messaging me. Tottenham striker expected to join Sevilla on loan. Why could Ange no send us one of his strikers on loan? Why could he not send us? Brendan Rodgers, his best buddy, was with the board. Lose, lose. Said Michael Ross says he'll help my fellow Celts. Duck says anyone that doesn't lose the dressing room or alienate the fans would do. Alienate the fans. Doesn't lose the dressing. Brendan Rodgers hasn't lost the dressing room. Come on, Brendan Rodgers has hardly lost the dressing room. That's ridiculous talk. Absolutely ridiculous talk. Ian Royce says, one man in the show, love the show. We'll get Kaiser back on in a few weeks. Don't forget that Brendan's team of the future are still work in progress. Yeah, we are. We're still in a club in transition. Exactly. That's what I spoke about. When you look at let's look at the average age of the team. We've got time to kill. So let's look at the average age of this team. The average age of the team is something, it's about 24-year-olds. The average age of Brendan Rodgers' team the last time he was at Celtic was about 27, 28 or something, 27, 28, I can't remember. But it was a lot older. West Brom are set to sign Mikey Johnston from Celtic on loan until the end of the season, is the breaking on Sky News just there. So yeah, well, no, the Mikey Johnston one's a strange one. Why on loan? I just don't get that one. There has to be something in it. Brendan Rodgers put out some young players on loan. Celtic have just put out something. It's on their website. Fantastic February on Celtic TV. Come on, Celtic, are you having a laugh? Celtic have just put out on their website, brace yourself for a February feast at Celtic TV. Offer up 6 live matches. It all kicks off on Saturday with the boys head to Pittodrie for a clash against the Aberdeen. The Aberdonians, February 4th, kick off at 12:30 at Aberdeen time, and then just 4 days later at Easter Road, like can, because now we're like getting down to train spotting country and that, like can. And Brendan Rodgers takes his side of Leith to take on the Hibernian. Come on, the Hibernian, and then it's the Ayrton West and that. They play the Scottish Cup action in the 5th round. The tie against St Mirren and Paisley. That's on February 11th, the kick-off at 2 p.m. We're back at Celtic Park, Celtic TV versus Kilmarnock, who hit the Glasgow East End for a 3 p.m. kick-off in the Clinch Premiership title on February the 17th. And to finish up the month, we travel to Motherwell on Sunday, February the 21st, and the midweek kick-off against the Steelmen. 3 days later, we're up against Dundee on the 28th of February. God, that's a cracking one by Celtic, isn't it? Anyway. Oh, dear God. Anyway. Right. Yawn glue. No, I'm not. I'm just bored waiting on the transfer window. Jesus, it's driving us all nuts. Anyway. That's the latest from Celtic. Celtic just put out a bit of news and it said, say aye to a Kelly pie. No chance. They'll take your money forever. Duck says Celtic press release. Good pies, not to come. Bad pies, overnight. Good pies. Let's be a very successful window. We can hold on to McCarthy. God. Oh man, I wish it was Friday because then we could have sat and had a wee swally. Why could they not just see from now on? They should just make every transfer window a Friday, right? And that way, everybody could just sit down with a bag of cans, right, and watch the transfer window. No bother, right? This should be a new rule. A new rule. They need to just a new rule. They need to just put out every transfer window has to finish on a Friday. So it's just a matter of fact. So it's all done and dusted for 5 o'clock. The end of business hours. It's all done for 5 o'clock. None of this nonsense midnight and 11 o'clock stuff. Get it done on a Friday 5 p.m. and then we all get absolutely hammered. Anyway, I'm no for Coat Bridge. Oh God! And Scotsman says, "Love Baz. You know we can have a good banter. Yeah, we've got to have a bit of a laugh. Baz is insane. Oh dear! If you need experience why we're letting Jamesy, don't include injuries. We're letting Jamesy go. Jamesy Forrest? No, we're not. Are we? We're not letting Jamesy Forrest go. I've never seen that anywhere. Players set for medical. What's this one? Mikey Johnston is to go. Yeah, it's because it's flagged up Celtic. Flagged up Celtic. It's all about Mikey Johnson just now. All the headlines that are kicking out. It's Mikey Johnson, Mikey Johnson, Mikey Johnson. And a string of clubs are lining up to sign 23-year-old player. That are, yeah, I seen that on Sky earlier. The guy in Sky said that although Celtic did turn down a bid for Matt O'Reilly, there will be a big. And I've got to, if, is Matt O'Reilly playing at the Euros? Is Denmark in the Euros this year? I think they are, aren't they? If Matt O'Reilly has a fantastic Euros, right? That you're going to be 30 million for Matt O'Reilly in the summer. And I'm sorry, but it will go in the summer. And yeah, there's going to be a fantastic amount of teams after him. Hatati out for a month, so I heard. Says Michael Ross. Did you, Michael? I've not heard nothing about that one, but I'm going to have a look quick. Let me just see. Where's this nonsense about James Forrest leaving? I'm seeing a few. It's just Twitter bull. James Forrest will not be going anywhere. What is Quan doing at St. Mirren? Jesus. There's a video come out of Quan at St. Mirren and he's on a chair dancing and singing. I'm just trying to see Chris Martin like there's a good one. Which underwhelming signing in the past have you been most underwhelmed by? Lubo Moravcik, Henrik Larsson, or Matt O'Reilly? It's a good question, that. Which one have you most been underwhelmed with? James Forrest is McCarthy's bagman. Surely not. What's on the news now, mate? The news now is Germany closes at 7 p.m. 5 p.m., 7 p.m. Italy, 10 p.m. France, 11 p.m. Viva España. Chelsea would consider a straight loan for a player. There's nothing coming out. Celtic right now are on radio silence. Um, Celtic are on radio silence, but Baz is losing the plot. It's all this sitting about. How long have we been on? Jesus. Even the dog's going mad. We've been on for 43 minutes. I'm going to stay on for an hour and then I'll be back on this evening. Later this evening for the evening edition. The evening edition. Going on loan to St. Mirren is a great idea. Seems to be going well so far for him. I don't see it. There's nothing. I'm not. It's just Twitter going into meltdown. There's nothing concrete that I'm seeing about James Forrest going anywhere. James Forrest wouldn't have signed a new contract. The Irish Independent. Irish Independent News. West Brom. Just about the Celtic players that are leaving. There's nothing about the players that are coming. There's not even a sneak. Nobody knows anything about a left back. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Let's do a search on list. Absolutely nothing. Celtic, in fact, signed Adam Ada. It's there's a cracker. Celtic have signed Adam Ida, but they're terrified to let the social media boy announce it. Tells you everything you need to know about the way they think they're doing their own business. What a plonker. And then somebody's put up a snail trying to cross the line as a transfer. Celtic are in talks with PSG for this loan movement. I can't see it because it's seemingly the agent of the PSG player that has said to Celtic about it. And I can't see Celtic going and paying any kind of money. There's a lot of loan players going out today, which is always they're always the same. The end of transfer deadline day. Burnley Medical loan moves, loan moves, loan moves, loan moves everywhere, and absolutely nothing happening by Celtic. Check Celtic social media again. It's just the misses. Just see Celtic, absolutely nada. Real Betis. Where's Sunderland got a player from Standard Liège for 2 million on a 4.5 year deal? Barnsley. Nothing about Celtic whatsoever. Radio silence from Celtic is unbelievable. You go onto Twitter, it's just complete meltdown. A lot of people are unhappy with the Celtic board, Celtic supporters and fans. I mean, it's that simple. It's unbelievable. Breaking news. It's fucking Lewis Hamilton. Piss off. Absolutely nothing. Not a sniff. Right. Scotsman, I got ethical topic for everyone, all the legends who played for Celtic, same status. How do you think they would be worth the day? Hendrik Lawson? Who's Hendrik Lawson? Hendrik Lawson? Adam is half with the transfer window. Stevie Boy. Oh, come on, Celtic. Get a finger out. Because if you don't, I'm going to quit it in the next. I'm going to quit it in the next 10 minutes anyway, and then we'll come back at 6 p.m. tonight. 6 p.m. will probably be a bit early because I don't think Celtic. I think Celtic will announce things around about 6 o'clock Celtic part time with the Adam Adia one. Dundee signed goalkeeper John McCracken from Norwich. Why can we not give Dundee? I mean, if there's Dundee signing a goalkeeper on loan, why can't we get rid of Benji Siegrist out on loan? Sign a loan player from BSG who's about 7 minutes and 3 seasons. Not good. Uh, I think it's all the agent. It's all the agent that's doing this. Who's Hendrik Larsson? Hendrik. Oh dear. Pelly's son was seen in Glasgow this afternoon. Breaking news. We won't do any more business. Yeah, I think we will. I think we have to bring in a left back. If we do not bring in a left back, don't tell me we're going to sit tonight and it's going to be all about the players that we have lost this afternoon. And Mikey Johnston, the only one that Sky are talking about is Mikey Johnston leaving on loan. Nothing about the Turnbull deal yet. It's maybe because Turnbull's not made his way down to England yet, or I don't know. But Celtic have they've sold Turnbull for the 2 million. Celtic was buying Shanklin for Aberdeen. Far better than the guy who couldn't get a game for Norwich. Is there a zombie alert? Oh, so there is. Tam, welcome to the party, Tam. Imagine subscribing just so you can sit and comment. Tube. Who calls people a tube? Tube. A tube. Now, tube. Tube. Jesus. Anyway, thanks for subscribing. Time away, keep it says. Terrible what's happening in Celtic Park. Nothing. Is there anyone at Celtic Park? Nobody goes to. On loan, Adam Montgomery sustained a training and has returned to Celtic to begin his rehab. I've seen that one earlier. Adam Montgomery has pulled a really bad hamstring injury, and his loan to Motherwell has been cancelled when he comes back to. He's basically out for the rest of the season then, which is unfortunate because Adam Montgomery is the type of player that you wanted to see. You wanted to see kicking about the first team next season. Adam Montgomery sent back. Turnbull is that slow. He'll end up in Cardiff on Sunday. Oh, oh Jesus. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Anyway, that's a cracking one. Oh, man. Right, let me just see what is going on. Celtic target midfield player. Fucking why? Seriously? Celtic are fucking. According to the Daily Record, Celtic are now looking for a midfield player because they've sold David Turnbull to Cardiff for 2 million. Rio Hatate is injured at the Asia Cup, and they're also looking for a new left back. Are we really looking for another midfield? I don't think that's. We're looking for another midfield player. We've got plenty of people that can cover the position that Turnbull was in. James Forrest has been touted for an exit. Who's this coming from? Who's this coming from? And maybe can you see James Forrest? It's a paper fucking nonsense. Marco Tilio said that one this morning. Has left. Nicholas Kuhn has came in from Rapid Vienna. Jesus. Nonsense, absolute nonsense and speculation. The transfer stuff blows. Baz, are you watching the True Detective or new seasons of Fargo? They're fucking great. I, I, I don't watch much TV, mate. I leave that to the missus. She watches telly. I don't. I don't want much. I don't watch much TV at all. I certainly don't watch Scottish news. I had to get her to explain to me what was all the nonsense about a monkey running about the countryside in Scotland, because my dad posted something on my Facebook page, and I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" No idea. I don't watch the news for back home or anything like that. But anyway, we move on from that. Is that another project? Watch on plenty of time for the Republic. Resemblance ahead. Let's check in. Celtic have just spent 48 hours and received 2 million. They've spent 4 million and received 2 million from Turnbull from Cardiff, as well as the 875,000 that we got for Ida Gucci. And then there was the 300,000 that we also got for the sale of a player from Leeds to Sunderland. So the money's building up if you want to talk about the money. So yeah, the money is building up. The Celtic coffers. They'll be sitting like that. Where's the bonus? Where's the bonus? Turnbull will be missed at the Celtic Christmas video. That's about all he'll be missed at as the Celtic. We don't need a midfield player. The Daily Record just up to the rubbish. Yeah, agree. Better deal is Mikey Johnston leaving. I find it bizarre that Mikey Johnston's going away on loan to the end of the season for absolutely free when I thought his contract was up at the end. I'm just going to double check. How does Google know what you want to type? Who says your computer doesn't listen to you? Do you know that Mikey Johnston has won 5 championship trophies at Celtic? 5 championship trophies, 3 Scottish Cups, and 3 League Cups. That's bizarre. Mikey Johnston. Mikey Johnston has won 5 championship trophies. He's won 3 Scottish Cups and 3 League Cups at Celtic. Oh, breaking news. Sad news. Sad news, Celtic fans. Shocking news, Celtic fans. Unbelievable news, Celtic fans. Unbelievable news, Celtic fans. My fucking word. There's going to be a meltdown on here just now. According to Transfer Market, Mikey Johnston's contract runs out on the 31st of May 2026. I hope they've got that wrong. Mikey Johnston to 2026. It's on Transfer Market. So Mikey Johnston is going out on loan to the end of the season, but he does have that contract until 2026 at Celtic. Going to Transfer Market, and I'm going to post it here and there. I'll post it on it if you want. If you want to go and have a look. Oh Jesus! There you go. There's his Transfer Market. Think. Oh my good. Oh man, that's just cheered us all up, isn't it? Get Mikey Johnston at the doors of that. Well, he is going out on loan to the end of the season. He is going out on loan. Mikey Johnston is going out on loan until Turnbull so slow he even got late turning up for his own signing. Hey! There we go. Transfer deadline day closes at 11 p.m. Scotland tonight. I will not be doing a live till 11 p.m. Scotland because that'll be 12:30 here. And I've got a day off tomorrow. And what is that about Spain? Since we've got time to kill, right? I mean, I was brought up Catholic in Scotland, right? And do you know when I was an altar boy and all this stuff, and being Catholic in Scotland is completely different to being Catholic in Spain. I mean, we've got a holiday on Monday. We've got I think it's I think it's a holiday on Monday and Tuesday. On Monday and Tuesday, and it's a religious holiday, so it's a bank holiday here. It's mad. It's absolutely madness. They get more holidays than everything. Every patron saint, every single patron saint that they have a holiday for. They call them red days here. Um, Anyway, it's nuts. I'm just trying to fill time because let's face it, there is absolutely nothing going on. Sky Leon agree say nope. Anyway, put a 10 on a pic of Mikey Johnston outside the stadium. Oh, jeez. He might be improved. Will Turnbull smile at his new club? He he might not do that. He might not do that. Makes you wonder what the board's loyalties lie, says Norman. Says Norman. St. Bridget's Day. It's something to do with the boobies. I don't know. I don't know who Saint paid. I don't know. I just know it's a holiday weekend here. A holiday weekend here. Anyway, Saint Craig White Day. Pub question in years to come. Who won more trophies than games started? Oh, that's a. And the year is 2058. Who at Celtic? Who at Celtic? It's the Celtic Club in quiz night, remember. It's the year 2058. We're still waiting on Mikey Johnston coming. Oh, I just read the answer away. Who won more medals at Celtic than minutes on the pitch? He won 5 trophies and titles, and he won 6 cups. Anyway, Mikey Johnston. Mikey Johnston. Celtic have still put absolutely nothing. Nothing in particular. Say it again. Ooh. 20 hours ago, Alistair Johnston, Team of the Week on Facebook. And yesterday, it was Maida and Hatate. Good luck to Maida and Hatate. Oh, this is getting unbelievable. Right, how long have we been on for? Where is the actual, there's the live thing. Anyway, been on for 59 minutes. Mikey Johnston, new contract, not even been announced. Marines never announced. Desmond Dermott playing golf with McIlroy. So what? Desmond, Mr. Desmond, or just call him Dermot, has nothing to do with the day-to-day running of Celtic. So if you want to talk about Dermot, right, let's talk about the two. I'm only doing this to play devil's advocate, right? So I'm doing this to see both sides of an argument because I think you have to be a bit like that. Uh, there's two Scottish guys, two guys that stay in Scotland, right? One of them has £16 million worth of shares in Celtic. The other one has over £10 million worth of shares in Celtic, right? These guys are not on the board. They're not nothing to do with non-executive directors or anything like that. They're just shareholders. They are the second and third biggest shareholders in Celtic. We never hear about them. Never hear about them. And it's two guys living in Scotland. Now, if I'm I'm sorry, but if I'm a professional journalist, I'm digging these two guys out and I'm trying to get an interview of them to find out what is their position with it being second and third highest shareholders in Scotland. Surely, with all the fan media that are professional journalists, right? They're going to go out and get that question answered. I'm not a professional journalist, so I'm not going to go. I'm not going to do it. And plus, I stay in Spain. But there's two guys in Scotland that are closer to Celtic. They probably go to games. They probably go to games. But if they don't go to games, why are they sitting on £26 million worth of shares in Celtic? What do they know that we don't? And that's two guys sitting in Scotland. Baz, how long until today, says Alan. I'm probably going to call it quits in about the next 5 minutes. I've been on for an hour. And then I'll come back at 6 o'clock this evening. And I've got to go and do some work. So, yeah, I will be back. Yeah, because I need to go and do... What time is it? It's 3:30 here. Yeah, I'll be back on just after 6. It'll probably be just after 6 that I'll be back. So anyway, yeah, I think that I mean, people are always quick to give the owner, the guy with the big. He's not the owner. He owns the most amount of shares in Celtic, right? He owns the biggest amount of shares. The two guys after Desmond, right? One of them owns £16 million worth of shares, and the other one owns 10 million. But nobody talks about them. Nobody talks to them. But whatever. And they stay in Scotland. They could be sitting next to you in the stadium. They're sitting nudging each other. All right, happening. Schwally, fucking balls. You never know. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your day, Baz. You got me, Baz. I just let it go through. Yes, Baz. One will be Willie Hockey. It's not Willie Hockey. No, it's not. It's not. It's not Willie Hockey. It's not Willie Hockey. It is not him. He only had about 5 million. He's got about £5 million worth of shares in Celtic. It is not Willie Hockey. Hockey. It's not Willie Hockey. And I'll get the names of them. I had the names of them before. I'll get that for the nighttime video if I've got time. If not, I'll do it for... It's Thursday today. I'll probably do it for the video tomorrow. Anyway, Lorna Garnica says, cheers, Baz, and everyone have a good day. Hit the thumbs up, please. Thank you for that, Lorna. And that note, we've been going for over 102 minutes. There is Getafe striker... How come Bournemouth can go? That's for 14 million. Obligation to buy for 14 million. Celtic are never going to do that. Anyway, thank you, everyone. They ain't sitting in my cheap seats. They ain't sitting in my cheap seats. No, they aren't that. God bless the bunnet, which sometimes we had someone like him at the helm, says Owen. Right, that's it for this afternoon's Celtic. What did we call the video again? It's a fucking long a video. Celtic transfer deadline day, lunchtime live edition is over. And on that note, have a fantastic day, Celtic fans all around the world. Hail, hail.